It's time for Thunder's Health Update. Coming to you now. So, in February of 2022, our old buddy Thunder here was diagnosed with articular gout. This was the first time in my life where I had an animal that was sick and needed medical attention on a regular basis in order to help the animal recover. I wasn't very experienced with the disease and it was a big shock to us, but we also had to figure out what was going on with Thunder's husbandry in order to correct what started the problem in the first place to stop this disease from progressing. Now, one thing I can say that's good news is Thunder hasn't had a single gout spike in an entire year. Now, of course, within the first year when he had the first crystal appear in his toe, that was the first gout crystal he had ever had. 6 months later, another one appeared on the middle digit of his opposite foot. We were worried that the disease would just keep progressing and that we wouldn't be able to help Thunder recover. We thought we were only giving him more time. But thank goodness, it's been 3 years now and Thunder's doing great. He was 3 years old at the time where he was diagnosed, and now he is 6 years old and he is thriving. So at the time, my dubia roaches were being fed on a powder diet rather than exclusively fruits and veggies. Now I've switched completely over to fruits and veggies for the dubia roaches diet. And also I keep a notebook that tracks what Thunder's eating so that way I can limit the portions of what I'm giving him. I also always keep up to date on the nutritional analysis of the insects that he's eating to make sure that I'm not feeding him too much protein in a small amount of time. And of course, I also increased the humidity that was within Thunder's enclosure, and I took the same practice into my other monitor lizards enclosures. Yeah, Thunder's doing awesome. As you can see, he's lost a lot of weight, a lot of bad weight, if you want to use those terms. Because if you look at Thunder's body, he has a lateral crease, or what I like to call a lateral indent, because Ackies don't have as much loose skin as other monitor lizards do. But you can see he's leaned out. But yeah, Thunder's been doing absolutely awesome. I really want to thank all of the vets that have helped Thunder during this process of recovery. And I want to thank all of the expert and more experienced keepers as well, because Thunder was my first Varanid that I got 6 years ago. So when this thing came up, I didn't know what to do. One person that stands out, of course, is Darren Oliver, a person who I've mentioned before in the past. And he's actually rehabilitated animals that have had gout before by fixing what the animals were eating in their diet and providing the proper food for the insects to feed on, so that way the insects are more nutritionally balanced for the reptile who is feeding them. So I really want to give a big thank you to him, because the experience and knowledge that he gave me during this time really helped our old buddy Thunder recover, and I really appreciate and respect Darren for that. So thank you so much, man. The same adjustments that I've made to Thunder's husbandry, I've also taken those same things into consideration with Charlotte, my female Ackie monitor. Of course, with Charlotte being quite a bit younger than Thunder, and the fact that she came in perfect health, I don't want her to go through the same things I had to go through with Thunder. So I make sure that I keep her humidity at a good stable level, and I also make sure that I watch what I'm feeding my insects, and I make sure that she's not eating too much as well. Charlotte has been in our care for well over a year now, and she is doing great. She isn't exhibiting any symptoms of any diseases, especially those related to gout. She's nice and trim and very active. And Thunder's activity has increased as well ever since the diagnosis, and we've made the changes to his husbandry, which has helped him lose all the excess fat that was on his body. He runs, he jumps. I've never seen him bolt out of the enclosure for food like he has before. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that he's being underfed. You want to see a strong food response. Animals that are laying around lethargic and not really chasing food usually have some sort of health problem that you may not be aware of yet, because they're being overfed and they are overweight. But in Thunder's case, If he's hunting just fine, he's running through his enclosure, he hasn't lost any of his mobility whatsoever. He can still jump really high and do all the things a healthy Ackie monitor would have to do to survive on its own. Of course, not saying that a captive bred Ackie who hasn't had to deal with all of the harshness of the wild and all the extra activity and work it would take to get its own food. I'm not saying you could just throw this guy into the middle of Australia and he'd live. But what I'm saying is I can put insects in his enclosure and he's self-sufficient at catching them. You know, he's not an animal that is disabled in any type of way. And I'm super happy that Thunder is not only still here with us, but it looks as though Thunder still has a great quality of life as well. So alright guys, this was Thunder's health update. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Everyone's asked me for a long time, where's Thunder? How's he doing? Is he still alive? Is everything okay? Well, as you can see, Thunder is right here and he is doing awesome. Still my same little lizard buddy from 6 years ago, and super happy that I still have him. Yet again, thank you to everybody who helped me when Thunder was going through this process. Now, of course, as I've said before in the past, just because Thunder's treatment has been working out does not mean that the disease is gone. Whenever you have something like gout, you want to treat the animal like it has gout for the rest of its life. Because of the animal's lifestyle and husbandry that the animal got sick in the first place. So we're going to keep up all these good healthy habits and all these adjustments that we made to Thunder's husbandry to make sure that our little buddy is with us for a very long and happy life. Everyone have a great day. Peace.